What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. It's Carlo here. Um, Today, I'm going to be speaking mainly to women. If you're not a woman, feel free to stay. You might still find this insightful, but I will be mainly talking to women and girls. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about womanhood. Um, and everything that I'm going to be speaking about today, I've been affected by as well, being born female and experiencing girlhood and womanhood most of my life. Um, so just know that I speak from personal experience as well. Um, I wanted to talk about a quote that I learned in my major studies at university. I was a gender and sexuality studies major. This quote really sticks out to me. I learned it probably my my earlier years in college, but it just really blew my mind to have it phrased that way. So the quote is well, I'm paraphrasing. I don't know if this is the exact quote, but it's basically the surveyed become the surveyor. And this is in terms of women, right? Being surveyed by the male gaze, by men, and constantly told how they should and shouldn't act, what makes them physically attractive, sexually attractive, what makes them desirable, being objectified, sexualized, constantly just criticized for existing and told by the male gaze what is and isn't acceptable. That is what that surveyed part means, right? But when you are surveyed as a young girl, as a young woman from jump, you then internalize all those messages that you hear, and you ultimately become the surveyor. And there's two parts to that. The first part is when you look at yourself in the mirror, you are now looking at yourself as a woman through the male gaze. You're surveying yourself, right? You have become the surveyor of yourself. When people are no longer telling you those messages, they've told you enough times that you start to tell them to yourself. That becomes your inner dialogue, right? You look in the mirror, you're looking at your body, and you're like, oh man, I have too much fat here and not enough here, and my body hair is not womanly, it's not attractive, right? You're nitpicking all those little things that other people told you, but now you believe for yourself and you are telling yourself in the mirror. That's the first part of being the surveyor. The second part is you now then survey other people, other women. When you see other women out, you have that same male gaze and you're judging them for the same things. You see a woman out, let's say she's in a dress, even little girls, right? You see someone in a dress and her legs are spread. You think in your head, oh man, that's not womanly, her legs should be crossed. Or if you have a little niece, you might even go as far as to tell her, cross your legs, close your legs, that's not ladylike, right? Or if someone burps obnoxiously loud, a woman, you think to yourself, you probably cringe, you do the face that wasn't ladylike, right? Just all those little things. If you see another woman out with her armpit hair, right, she didn't shave, you might feel slightly disgusted because you were taught to feel that, right? You're taught that that's gross or not attractive or unladylike. So you have now become the surveyor. And I point this out to, one, highlight how being in a woman or a girl in society, you are stripped of the choice and the autonomy to choose for yourself how you want to be as a woman, what womanhood looks like for you, how you want to look, how you want to act, right? What you actually like, what you actually care enough about. You're stripped of that choice. And I just wanted to highlight that so that you can take the moment to be aware of how that showed up in your life. And then two, to remind you that you should have that autonomy. You do have that choice, right? You can take a moment and be like, wait a minute, like, I don't really care about my leg hair. I don't want to shave right now. Or to look at your body and think to yourself, I actually like the way my body looks, even though it doesn't match the beauty standards in movies, in shows, on social media. I actually like my size. Ba-da-da-da-da. It's hard to do when you're young, because when you're young, you are looking to the people around you and the world around you to help you learn what's right and wrong, right? But when you get old enough to really think for yourself and feel confident enough to be okay going against the grain of society, you have the power to choose, right? Women should be able to define their own womanhood, to decide what is and isn't ladylike for them, what kind of woman they want to be, what is attractive to them as a woman, in themselves, in their own body, right? Do it for the girls. Like, yes, if you're straight, right, and you want to, look good for men, you can decide, you get to decide whatever gaze you want to follow, pretty much. But just reminding you all that you don't have to constantly oblige by the male gaze. There is such thing as the female gaze, and oftentimes the female gaze is very beautiful. Like, I love the female gaze. I think women have the ability to really see beauty in things that men often aren't. I actually have I got a tattoo that represents the female gaze because that's how much I love it. That's how much I love being able to see beauty in things that aren't conventional. You get the point, right? You get the point. There is a difference. Like, when you see a woman out, you can tell. And I don't know if men will be able to really pick this out because they were only taught the male gaze, right? But like other women out there, if you're listening to this, I hope you know what I mean. But like, when you see another woman, you can tell if she is dressing for the male gaze or the female gaze. It's a different type of beauty, right? You can tell she is doing it for herself, for her own standards, her own gaze, the gaze of other women potentially, right? Not for men, not to fit into that category of what is and isn't desirable to men. I just wanted to, one, share that, and two, remind all the women out there to reclaim your power, right? Know that you do have the choice. You should have the choice. So many choices are taken away from women in society today, and I know it can go, like, there are the tangible things, like that women's rights fight for right now, right? Like, well, we already have, not we, but I'm not a woman anymore, but I still hold womanhood and girlhood in me. But like, in the past, like the suffrage movement, right, the right to vote, abortion rights are still a big thing right now. The right to autonomy to your own body, right, to have that choice about what you want to do with your own body. The right to have access to accurate sexual and reproductive health education. I'm not good with my words right now, but you know what I mean. Like, the topic that I'm talking about right now is a little more discreet. It's not something that people vote for, that politicians necessarily bring up. It's something that just functions in society, unfortunately, almost unspoken. And we've been progressing as a society, you know, there's more kind of voice to it. And I feel like the younger generations are learning it more and learning it earlier, right? Which is great. But I know not everyone has the opportunity to learn this information and to realize that you, out of all of the choices that you hear about that women should be having in society, this is one that is just as important, and that is just the right to exist how you want, the right to be, right? Like nowadays, young girls, young women can't just exist. They're judged for everything, for how they look, how they act, how they speak, what they like to do, their hobbies, right? That's not fair. Some of this can also apply to young boys and men as well, but I'm gonna have a separate video on that. It's a little different. It's a little different. Yeah. I hope this all makes sense, and I hope it's able to reach someone who might need to hear it or might benefit from it. That's it for today. Hope you guys continue to take care of yourselves, continue to love yourselves, and have a great rest of your day, afternoon, or night. Peace.